Welcome everybody to your first and only Beyond the Summit World Tour match of the day. I am LD of dotacommentaries.com. Joining me is Luminous, and we are casting Dara versus EG. This is game number one, and well, I have to say, whenever it's a game that involves Dara, expect to see some aggressive early tactics. At least that's what they do whenever I cast them. Lumi, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing fine. I'm expecting great things from these two teams. I have not seen EG play a lot. There, of course, we casted them a lot for TPL. But these two teams have a history against each other. They recently played against each other in the defense match. And I don't want to spoil that match in case anyone haven't watched it, but it was really back and forth. The game was really close. So these two teams are evenly matched. I want to say Dare has a little bit more competitive experience, but EG's been winning tournaments here and there as well. So, it's going to be a very, very good match.
Ooh, off the bat, we see a Rubik pickup. So already this game looking to be exciting. And then the Enigma. And Lumi, it's funny because in the past, if you want to protect an Enigma pick, you'll see teams either ban or pick a Vengeful Spirit, a Beastmaster. I feel like this Rubik pick, it's not just about the Rubik, it's about protecting that Enigma.
Well, I mean, that's one of the added benefit of it. Meanwhile, right. Chaos Knight and Leshrac, there's so much ways to deal with Enigma, swap Beastmaster, Roy, like you mentioned. The Brewmaster is not an afterthought as well as you can't actually black hole those fire pandas, or pandas in general, and they could stun and cyclone you just as well as any other counter. So Enigma does have a lot of stuff to worry about, but I think most teams nowadays are picking him for the pushing power. No time to talk about that, and it's going to be another matchup between Wisp and a Rubik, but right now the ganking power is absolutely insane on there. Last time I seen them pick Wisp, they also picked it with the Weaver, so there's going to be a lot of ganking and chasing from Team Dare.
Well, they already have great chasing because they have Chaos Knight and they have Wisp. Wisp gives you that global mobility, the move speed of Tether. Then you throw Chaos Knight on top of that. We all know about his chasing power. Reality Rift, Chaos Bolt, great range, high base movement speed, and tanky to boot. Wisp, Chaos Knight, very potent combo. Maybe they'll look to add a couple more. We've seen here is like Sand King, Night Stalker be very effective in the past. I believe Virtus Pro ran a Wisp Night Stalker, and they dominated. They ended up losing that game. That was in the TPL, but someone left the game a bit early, I will say. But nonetheless, Wisp's just such a hero with so much potential to do big damage, and we'll have to see how they go from here. But very aggressive lineup, very ganking-oriented lineup off the bat for Dare.
Powerful counter pick from maelk here, Shadow Demon, a great defensive tool because you know the Wisp, you know the Chaos Knight is going to be in your face the whole time. So getting that hero to protect one of your other heroes is going to be very, very key. A very, very small but strong interaction between the Wisp and Chaos Knight is the fact that Reality Rift does blink Chaos Knight in front of the hero. So that means that the Wisp tether will immediate stun for 2 seconds, which, I mean, added to that 4-second casual Beastmaster roar of the Chaos Bolt. I mean, you're looking at a lot of stun duration. Yeah. So this is a very, very good 1-2 combo. A great ganking pair from Dare. And Wisps, that's what Dare loves. They like to dive between towers. They like to dive past tier 2 towers a lot of times to get those kills. And Wisp is like the best hero to do such things.
I love this ban of the Tinker. EG known for running their Tinker. At this point, I mean, every time I watch EG, it's Bulba playing that Tinker, farming Ancients with March on the Machine most of the time early on, having his teammates stack them usually, and he gets big quickly. Even if he gets ganked a few times, I mean, it's something we never saw in Dota 1, but we see it all the time in Dota 2 now, and you don't have to have that perfect start, whereas I feel like before with Tinker, you kind of needed it, but there's a little bit of insurance now with that ability to farm Ancients, even farming the big camps if they get stacked for you. So either way, respect being paid towards him. Tinker gets the ban. Sand King banned out as well. A little bit afraid of the teamfight potential of EG, and I can't say I disagree. Enigma Rubik already gives you some decent teamfight options, and then Sand King on top of it. That's pretty scary. And this is a hero both teams love to run. Fear, very well known for his Lone Druid, but it's Dara who pick it up.
And Darius Lone Druid, again, same combo with Wisp. You tether him, you give him the overdrive, and he will be mowing down buildings with that 40% demolish extra damage. It is an insane combo. It's a great uphill push as well. Now you're seeing two great pushers. Phantasm from CK is a great pushing lineup as well. So this is all gank, all push. And it's up to EG to repel this tidal wave of maelstrom, of storm, or whatever you want to call it, waving down and try to consume every tower you have. EG's going to have a tough thing going for them. They need a lot more bursty, counter-pushing AoE spells. And so far, they only have Fable.
Well, Lumi, you may have bit your tongue last night, but it seems to be doing wonders for your linguistic skills today, nonetheless. I really like that analogy. But, yeah, this is a brute force lineup from Dare. Chaos Knight, Lone Druid, two very tanky frontline heroes. Then you throw the burst damage on top of it, of the Wisp, the Leshrac, great support here. And Disruptor as well. Oh man, look at Dare. I love this. We're seeing a lot of this already in Beyond the Summit. There's so many teams going to the International too in this tournament. 15 to be exact who are attending, 14 who will be competing for sure. These teams are taking advantage of the opportunity. They're practicing a lot with the new heroes, trying to change things up. Meanwhile, EG goes for something a little more standard. Big team fight is the name of the game for them. Tidehunter, Enigma, and the potential with the Rubik cannot be underestimated.
I mean, it is big team fight, but that static storm will be an annoying thing to deal with. Going back to Rubik real fast, he has so many good spells to steal. Any Chaos Spell, Edict if you can steal it, or any of Disruptor spells are great to have. But yeah, Disruptor, Static Storm, the silence, the big AoE silence and how long it lasts is going to be annoying for Tidehunter as he's trying to walk by and drop his Ravage, or all these casters on the EG squad. I'm favoring Dare's lineup a lot right now. I don't know what EG is going to pick up last, but I cannot think it will kind of change my opinion. This lineup is so good at team fight, so good at pushing, so good at ganking. And, well, I'm excited for this one.
Well, one thing I will say about this lineup is early on they are very squishy. Leshrac, Wisp, and Disruptor, all pretty low HP, low armor heroes. Even the Lone Druid, not very tanky until he gets that ultimate. And EG have a lineup that can punish that early. They've got Soul Catcher, Disruption, Malefice, the Eidolons, Gush, Anchor Smash. It's a lot of burst damage for EG, especially in those early moments. They could easily set up some kills. I am curious, what will this last pick be? Will they go for a hard carry? Will they go for a semi-carry, go for a lot of ganking? Your guess is as good as mine, but right now, EG's not tipped their hand. Well, there you go. It's a hero that can definitely carry, I mean, maybe not 1v5, but as close to it as you can get nowadays. It's the Morphling.
It's definitely the Morphling, and he's going to be a tough nut to crack in terms of ganking him down, waveform, strength morph, and all that jazz. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for Wisp and Chaos Knight to actually tackle him, but I don't think they're short in terms of targets. They have so many other squishy to actually go for. The question is who's going to be taking the support role, because the first four heroes are capable of supports. But I imagine Enigma and Tidehunter is going to be getting the farm, but we might be seeing a solo mid Rubik or something like that. That's going to be spicy because we haven't seen that in a pro game yet.
Yeah, obviously Shadow Demon likely to be a support in this lineup, and then the question is who will that second support be? Obviously Morphling going to get farm. Enigma, even if he plays that support role, he still is going to get his farm, whether it's the offlane or the jungle. That hero gets last hits early and often, unless he gets ganked too much. If you look at Dare, though, they're pretty level dependent in comparison, I would say. They've got a couple heroes that can play support, Disruptor, Wisp, but even for the Wisp, you want to get level 6 as quickly as possible. Disruptor, the same thing. His ultimate is very strong, and ideally you'd like to level up that kinetic field. So we'll have to see how Dare lanes this one, too. Very interested to see what both teams do.
LD, making sure you change your overlays as well as making sure your mic is on for Dota TV. Oh. I do apologize for any technical difficulties because this is still very new for us, at least broadcasting.
No, we're good on the Dota TV. I just had their own overlay, but we are all set. So let's go ahead.
If we want to call this the Dota show, that's good with me too. In any case, Bulba's going to be playing the Rubik, and he is generally the solo mid player, or at least playing the solo mid heroes. So we might see, a farming Rubik. Universe going to be playing the Shadow Demon. Demon playing the Tidehunter. Maelk on that Enigma, and Fear on the Morphling. So we have our questions answered. Maelk and the Universe is going to be supporting it up.
Yeah, that means we're going to see a farming Tidehunter, and that means a quick Ravage likely to be achieved here for EG. Demon heading down towards the bottom lane. Man, he is really decked out. I think that's max gear for Tidehunter. Pretty close anyway. Meanwhile, for Dare, who's playing this little Shrek? Why is he trolling me? I think that's Mag. Oh no, Mag is playing the low druid. Okay, well we have Goblin playing the. See if you can find out who that is for me, Lumi. But we have Goblin playing that Disruptor. Looks like he might be dual laning mid. Artstyle on this signature aggressive hero, the Chaos Knight. Feed gonna be playing that Wisp, and up top we have, I believe that's Mag playing the low druid. And my in-game sound is off. Sorry about this, guys.
How can you forget about the dominant player of Dare? His name is G. And he plays solo mid, and he goes Bloodstone first no matter what, right? He is going to be saving for a quick bottle. As you can see, 3 GG branch and a Salve. Leshrac's one of his better heroes, and he really suits the playstyle of G. One of those heroes that, as you get more and more kills in the game, he gets a lot stronger. A momentum-based hero, as we would like to mention it. So, and he finds a way. He always finds a way to get those kills, and he's going to be up against a Rubik. Very, very bursty mid lane. You think he's going to go for Split Earth and Edict, or you think he's going to actually move over to Lightning?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with my in-game sound here. Guys, I might have to wait until... If we have a pause, I'll try and restart my Dota. Otherwise, I'll have to fix this for Game 2. Do apologize for the lack of in-game sound. Not sure why I don't have it. But, yeah, he could go either way. But in a dual lane, I mean, generally you see that... You see the Split Earth Edict, just a little bit more aggressive offensive build. Could definitely go for those early kills. So, considering it's a 2-on-1, I would expect to see Edict. But your guess is as good as mine. Anything is possible. That's the beauty of Lashrek. He can do pretty much whatever he wants and still be a very useful hero. We've seen players completely skip Lightning. We've seen players, max it first. We've seen players go for Pulse Nova early. A lot of options when building that hero. Down on the bottom lane, it's a solo Tidehunter. And this used to be an oddity, but now we see it all the time. Very difficult to gank him off. Also, he doesn't need the farm as much as other heroes, but he's going to get the levels. And that's really what Demon cares about. Getting a quick Ravage up against that Chaos Knight. It looks like Wisp will be looking to do a bit of pulling.
Man, meanwhile, look at the top lane here, Mag. We've seen some crazy pulls by the Spear Bear in the past, but this one, he pulled at the second tier tower of the top lane, went down to the level 1 camp, used the bear to block that level 1 camp against maelk, and then pulled it across the river in front of his tower. It was a journey, but now he has a creep wave in front of his tower. This is one of the things you could do when you're playing this, the Lone Druid or as Prophet to get that pull going on and make sure you farm safely. So very well done here by Mag.
Yeah, I did miss that while I was trying to fix the sound, but I drew it on the map for y'all. That's a great play. That's some next level Lone Druid play, we'll say. In the middle lane, so far they haven't really gotten too active. Once they hit level 2, 3, that's where they can start to be more aggressive. But this is going to give Rubik some early levels. At least for now, they're not trying to kill him. And if he can get level 6 in a hurry, he can turn things around pretty hard. Whether it's stealing Split Earth, the Kinetic Field. I mean, you mentioned it in the pregame. There's so many spells this Rubik can steal. They're going to have to be very careful if he gets to level 6. About trying to dive him. So if I'm Dare, I'm trying to kill him before he gets to that point.
Yeah, the thing is, you should pick Rubik right from the get-go. And generally, there's a couple arguments for maybe you don't want to pick Rubik until you are pretty sure there's good spells to steal. I think a couple games that we casted ago, there was Rubik that had Ravage and only Ravage steal, and you can't reliably get Ravage, right? So sometimes Rubik is just gonna be a superstar, and other times it's gonna be lackluster. But this game, yeah, he's got a lot of options.
Oh, big dive on the bottom lane. They're going to get Demon. The power of that Wisp Chaos Knight, the movement speed. Look at what he has. 325 plus 64. Almost 400 move speed with no boots. That is insanity. You throw boots on that, it's at least 450. Probably more like 460, 470. Poor Demon. A tanky hero, normally Tidehunter, difficult to kill off. He did have a point in Kraken Shell. It might have saved him, but normally you want to get the 1 point in Gush. So a bit unfortunate there for our friend Demon. And a good start for Dare. That's a kill they needed.
Again, the beauty of Reality Rift blinking right behind the hero, letting the tether to get the proc in. Meanwhile, looking at the top jungle, that Spear Bear is making a journey across the world, trying to get those pull. Yeah, he does, and he's got one creep. He's working on it and trying to get it. And this is a lot of things you could do, like with the Spear Bear, either block cams or stack cams. And Max showing off his micro skills. As he's only level 2, but he would be a level 1 right now if those pulls are not happening.
Yeah, actually, Demon is out leveling him, which is normally you'd expect to see the Lone Druid having a better time because he has that ability to pull. That being said, Demon has died, so giving up a first blood versus probably a bit behind experience. We'll call it fairly even for now. On the middle lane, still no action really. They haven't gone for a dive on Bulba, but they might soon. One of the difficult things about diving Disruptor is he has that telekinesis. If you ever try and dive him, he can throw you up in the air. It's a long disable. And he can also punish you by throwing you back towards the tower or push you away. So for the moment, they're just getting the farm, getting the levels. But at some point, I really do expect them to go on the offensive. One hero we haven't talked about at all is maelk. He's got a Soul Ring in his stash. Going to be checking the 4-minute route up top. Maybe looking to set something up in one of these lanes. Enigma, definitely a hero that can do that. But really, you want the level 2 Malefice before you start ganking too much.
Yep, he's going to be putting points into Malefice, back into Malefice again, making a little bit more of a ganking build. But look at the mid lane here, Boba adjusting his skill build. You generally don't see no feel until much later, but a little bit worried about the insane nuking combination and across the river. So good adjustment on the skill build. He is going to be maxing Fable, and Fable is one of the more expensive spells to spam, but with the bottle, and he could be even bottle curling it, he should be fine.
Yeah, he really needs that spam. He's getting some last hits here and there, but you can't be too aggressive, especially if the creep waves across the river. It's just not worth the risk. Demon got a regen room bottom. He's got his boots, and if you ever play the offlane as a hero like Tidehunter, it's one thing if you're Prophet or Lone Druid, you can pull the creeps to your tower. If you're someone like Tide, you need these boots early, before Reign of Basilius, before trying to go for a bottle or anything like that. We'll even see players who are on Windrunner doing the same thing just to try and keep themselves alive. And it looks like Demon's actually going to rotate mid. There's a ward here. I believe it should have vision of that. So he's going to head back bottom. There's just not a whole lot for him to do right now. That one death, putting the fear of, I would say God, but it's really the fear of this horse into his heart and keeping him back for the moment.
I like what Demon's doing though. He's being active. A lot of players would like to just stand next to that tier 1 and do absolutely nothing. You see that he's checking for runes. Sometimes you could even go for ancient stacks. He's leaving the option to go gank mid. I mean, at least doing something for the team instead of nothing. And this is a difference between a high-level player and some player that's just like, okay, well, I will sit here for 8 minutes now and wait for them to leave. One can actually do a lot.
Yeah, there's definitely some options there, and he is, in fact, I thought he was going to stack them, but he is very early on that, so maybe a misclick. I don't think you can actually pull this. No.
I don't think you can either, yeah. If he was trying to, he's completely mistimed it, but yeah, okay, that's cool.
Probably just a misclick there. Either way, he's going to check the bottom rune, so again, just make himself as useful as possible. The one concern here for Dare is they are giving this Morphling absolute free farm, and Fear certainly a very skilled carry player, 38 and 18 already. But they're trading for Chaos Knight, Leshrac is getting good farm as well, and there's Wisp. Dare has a very strong mid-game lineup, so my guess is that once they get those levels up, ideally level 6 on the Disruptor, maybe 7 or 8 on the Leshrac, Chaos Knight, you want to at least max out the... Well, he's already 7, so they're getting close. They want to do it. Ideally, you want to get to level 9, 11 perhaps, and then Derek can get really aggressive. So that's what I'd expect to see out of them as we move towards the mid-game.
I think right now in the next 5 minutes, they're just going to turn on their aggression very, very much so. Wisp is going to be close to level 6, and once that happens, we're going to see a lot more global gang. Artstyle already close to having both of spells maxed with simple boots of speed, sitting at 380 MS. They could dive past this tower for Ty if they wanted to do so. And you were saying, man, we're going to expect a quick level 6. Well, not if he's not getting any EXP, and Demon, again, just kind of neutered on this bot lane, not getting anything.
Oh, Artstyle wanted to go. He was thinking about it. Reality Rift not actually going to proc. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, 2 heroes have rotated. Universe from the top, maelk from the jungle, and he's got the ultimate now, so Black Hole is available. Bulba level 6 as well. He stole it himself, Split Earth. Pretty nasty setup. Of course, they have a Shadow Demon, so this Leshrac may actually work out in EG's favor. They'll have a semi-Leshrac of their own. Big dive on the top lane. Fear is going to solo kill Mag, and, well, that's really going to set the low Druid back. So, up top, we do see Morphling having a great time. It's a nice trade-off for the Tidehunter, that's for sure.
Definitely killing the enemy carry who needs a lot of farm to get anything going. I wonder if he's going to be going for the Relic Rush, or maybe, you know, having such a poor start, he's going to go for a little bit something for his team. But for now, it looks like Boba is going to be nuking the hell out of G, a Split Earth into an immediate Fable. Now, the cool thing about sealing spells with a Rubik is that your casting animation is a lot better, and Split Earth generally is a harder to cast spell, but with Rubik, it's kind of instant cast, and that's exactly what we saw there on the mid lane.
Oh, sorry I missed that one, guys, but Lumi described it as best as he could. Bulba's actually going to get an Invis bottom, and, you know, you mentioned it earlier, Rubik is very mana-dependent. Obviously, you generally go for Arcane Boots early, but you really need these runes as well before you get them. EG smoked up, looking to dive the top lane, and, well, Lodred's already not having a good time. Nice ward placed behind the tower, gonna spot him out if he tries to leave. For the moment, the bear is down as well, so Mag is utterly defenseless. Still not level 6. I believe he was just spotted, but EG is biding their time very patiently. Bulba even journeys all the way around from the bottom room, circles in. They really want this kill, and they want the tower on top of it.
They gotta be careful, because Relocate is up online, Teleport Scrolls are up online. This is a poor dive, in my opinion. They're actually very committed to it right now, and Mag is coming in, Teleportation coming in as well. There's a Wisp. Mag now in a little bit of trouble. He does not have his ultimate yet, and now maelk eats a 4-second stun. He's gonna be dead for sure. Mag dies as well. Beat is gonna be going down 4-second, and now CK trying to do the big damage, but he is stunned up. Boba coming out in Vis, he is disrupted, and here comes the Thrall, the Disruptor, in position to get a couple more kills. And at the end of the day, that was a 2-for-2 trade. I think that actually went in favor of EG as they got another kill against Mag. I thought it would turn out a lot worse than it did for them.
Well, there were no TPs, only the ulted, and then 2 heroes walking into the lane. If there had been another TP, could have been a lot worse. But they weren't able to cut off the retreat of the Morphling. Ultimately, if you're not killing the Morphling, you're not using a big spell like the Black Hole. I agree with you. I think it's a decent trade, and EG certainly dodged a bullet there. That is the power of Wisp, though, and I'm glad you brought it up. Anytime you go for aggressive play, you have to be very cautious about that potential for counter gank, as long as the ultimate's up. And right now, it will be down. Big dive by Fear on the top lane. Wisp teleports in. Split Earth not going to hit, and they are going to back off. Narrowly escapes with his life. Waveform doing so much damage early on.
Man, you were saying that the aggression of Dire is going to be kicking on, or no, excuse me, the aggression of Radiant's going to be kicking on. But really, the lack of HP, like you mentioned during the draft, is really killing the Radiant side. Disruptor very low in HP.
Bottom lane. Gush to start, Chaos Bolt to follow. They're gonna make it go. Oh, Mag doesn't get the ult off in time. Ravage just for Artstyle. They're gonna get 2 kills here. Uses the wand. Will they? The Wisp comes in. Tethers as well. Artstyle is still alive, and they're not done just yet. Going on to Demon. 4-second stun for good measures. They secure a double kill in exchange for the lone druid. But this is a lone druid that is just struggling so hard. He's got a quelling blade right now. That's it on the hero. I believe he has boots on the bear, but that's about it. Lone druid has nothing. And I believe I've lost Lumi for the moment. EG grouped up top. 3 heroes looking to push the top lane. And this is where having Enigma is very handy. Whenever the enemy goes for a gank in one place. Oh, big dive onto the Wisp. They want the kill. Are they going to get it? Not quite in range. And Wisp has gone for an early pair of Tranquil Boots. You see Arcane Boots a lot on Wisp. Tranquil Boots another great option. For anyone who's not familiar with it, when you tether up to an ally, you can heal your teammates up. So a nice choice there, and they're a very cheap choice. Dare wants that mobility. They want to be able to get around the map quickly to try and chase down the Morphling, and it certainly gives them a little bit of extra mobility. Tranquil Boots give you very high base movement speed. Uh-oh, Leshrac gets Gush to start, Telekinesis to follow, pulled back in, a lot of damage, and the low HP, the low armor costing him severely. One more right click will do it. No, the tower is going to steal that kill, but nonetheless, the Leshrac goes down again. And remember, this is not a support Leshrac. This is a Leshrac that was getting farmed, so any kills they can get him are absolutely huge.
Man, this is really, really bad for Dare. I mean, they're actually holding on 5 to 6, but like you said, a lot of deaths are on Leshrac, and whenever Dare does well, G does well, and more importantly, it's actually the flip side. Whenever G does well, Dare does well, and right now he's actually not, playing his best.
You know, it's the Leshrac and it's the Syllabear. The only hero that got farm early that's doing well is Artstyle. He's 2-0-3, and boy, if anybody can really benefit from that early good start, it is Chaos Knight. We've seen how strong this hero could be. Still, against EG's lineup, if we get to that late game, they have enough AoE to lock it down. So they need to continue to keep the pressure on, take advantage of that Chaos Knight's power in the early stage. And if he can get those kills, it's going to free up a lot of space for Mag to farm, for the Leshrac to push down towers.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure how much Chaos Knight's going to carry them. At the end of the day, that Purge is still going to be a Purge against Chaos Knight. And he's going to be diving himself very, very bravely into the enemy of 4 or 5. So he has to get a BKB immediately for him to have any effects. And so far, it seems like he's going to go for a Drums Rush, which is not a bad way to get a mid-game item. But BKB has to be the answer for a late-game situation.
Well, they have Purge. They also have Black Hole. And Morphling right-clicks pretty hard. So maybe he needs that BKB. There are a lot of other disables, Gush, Malefice. But it's not a full-on solution, plus the disruption and the telekinesis as well. There's nothing they could steal that goes through BKB as far as I can see, but Rubik always going to be a threat. I think Kinetic Field will still hold you in place, so that's something to be concerned about as well. They're going to go for early Roshan. There's actually a guide post on Reddit about how you can solo Roshan as Enigma. With Medallion as well as Soul Rain plus Gush. This will be a quick one. If they can get off, Purge to start on to feed. He charges in, Edict melting him rapidly. That was a good spell for Bulba to steal, and he took full advantage of it. But 1 kill, probably not going to be quite enough. This Rosh still takes well. They're going to back off, but this is freeing up a lot of space for Morphling on the top lane. You can't gank this Morphling right now if he's up top, because if you do, you're giving up a Roshan. Big dive onto Universe, 4-second stun, but the Levitate throwing him back, actually throwing him forward, maybe not the best direction. One more Reality Rift does the trick, and Artstyle is a one-man wrecking crew at this point.
And he's not done. Immediate pause from Mag. I have no idea but why. Artstyle, one of those players that do love to get Vanguard just on about anybody. You don't actually see Vanguard and Chaos Knight quite a bit, but hey, it makes sense. He needs HP, he needs a tank, and he dives so hard, so it's not a bad item. And, it's helping him survive very much so right now.
It's also great versus the Eidolons. It really helps mitigate their damage, so that's another decent reason to pick it up. We're going to have to pause at a very interesting time here. One thing I'll point out is Goblin is on the way. He's actually maxing Thunderstrike first for the burst damage. This is generally the way that you see Rubik built. Some players will go for earlier points in Kinetic Field if they're trying to favor a big team fight style. But the burst damage of Thunderstrike, very strong. And Kinetic Field's still pretty good at level 1. He's got the ult as well, so if he can land a good Kinetic Field, this could easily turn around the other way. Another thing to note, Bulba is completely out of mana at this point.
One thing you also want to see is that once the Radiant team decides to start pushing, Glimpse is going to be a spell that you want to watch out for, because somebody, a lot of players like to TP in and defend the tower, but Glimpse will immediately port you back.
Oh, it's so annoying.
It is annoying, and it's hilariously fun to watch. Hopefully, players are adjusting. Instead of TPing to the tier 1 tower, they'll TP to tier 2 and walk there instead. Looks like both teams are getting to go, and will artstyle make it out alive? Bulba is out of mana and cooldown on his telekinesis, and EG backing off as well. So we see immediate teleportation coming in from Feed. Although that might seem like a very small thing, that's a long cooldown on that ultimate.
Right, it's 90. It's 90 seconds that you don't have to worry about that. It doesn't just allow you to, it not only cuts down on the worry about ganks, it also allows you to be more aggressive because Wisp can't counter gank, at least not as effectively. They're trying to push the middle lane, but the Eidolon's kept safely back. Will be slowing this push down. Still, another creep wave comes in, and Edict level 4 being used on the tower. Ravage is up, Black Hole is up. Very dangerous lineup to push against. If those combos ever hit, your team is going to get wiped, and wisely, I think, Dare is going to back off.
Yep, the importance of Static Storm, the silence, is going to be so key against maelk and against Demon. So far, they haven't ate any big AoE ultimate yet, so far so good. And here comes artstyle. He wants to dive and feed, actually walking ahead very, very bravely. My friend, you got 0 armor, you gotta be, or 1 armor, you gotta be very, very careful. artstyle slowly mowing down the creep wave. Is Vanguard very helpful? Are they gonna dive so far? No, they want this tier 1 tower. It looks like they want Demon. Can you burst him down? Defensive disruption. Ravage! No, the silence is gonna be casted. Black Hole on top of everything. There's a Ravage. Midnight Pulse on top as well. And everybody's dying. Rubik double kill so far. He's looking for more. He sees Feed. He gets another kill. Diabolic Edict was the spell that he stole. My god, you talked about the AoE machine of this. But the Ravage and Black Hole was exactly
there
what
was no Morphling there either. The lone Druid just can't do anything at this point. He has boots up on the hero, nothing on the bear. He's trying to farm towards a relic from the looks of it, but it's going to be a while. This is why you see teams, they don't normally initiate on Tidehunter, especially when he's got a Shadow Demon to support him. They actually, Dare almost timed it perfectly there. As soon as he came out of Disruption, the Disruptor Silence was used. It just wasn't enough. It's so hard to burst that hero down. All he's got is a Bracer, but 1200 HP, 5 armor, very tanky already.
In fact, I think they did a great job against the Tide, but they forgot the other AoE machine, and the Black Hole kind of killed him. maelk somehow getting outside Static Storm, and Wisp teleporting in. He wants... Who the hell does he want? Who does he think he can kill? It looks like it's going to be maelk, and look at the DPS output. Will they kill maelk before they come back? Phantasm used for the last hit. It's cancelled, and now artstyle being left in enemy territory, but he does have a backup team, so very nicely done. And even though the enemy team will see you teleport in when you use relocate, that was not enough for maelk to survive.
Yeah, he tried to help the Morphling, maybe worried about someone else showing up, and in the end it cost him his life. But Fear, speaking of that Morphling, Fear is going to have an Ethereal Blade in about 3 or 4 minutes at the rate he's going, as well as already pick up that Aegis. That big team fight, that could prove to be a big issue for Dare. An Ethereal Blade Morphling, if you look at their lineup right now, nobody's super tanky. The Leshrac actually only not even 1,000 health. Wisp sitting around 900. Disruptor sitting around 900. They're tankier than you would normally see these heroes because they have the early tower mid. They've gotten some farm. At least they have bracers and some levels. But nonetheless, this is a lineup that can be burst down. And that's not counting all the other nukes. Just the Morphling alone. But you throw Soul Catcher on top of it. The Enigma Malefice, Gush, all of Rubik's burst damage. And he's got Chaos Bolt right now, by the way. Oh man, this is a great game to play Rubik. Bulba is stealing all the right spells this game.
He really is. We saw the power of Edict against a Wisp early on who has basically no armor, so it's dealing a whole bunch of damage. And here comes the gank party of EG. I just want to point out they're going to run into a Courier if they kill this. Man, it's worth the gank. Alright, Courier, is that theirs? No, they're going to ignore the Courier. They want a hero instead. They see Wisp. And looks like Wisp is basically dead, unless Wisp has some crazy tether and like to a creep or something. But look at the lockdown. Soul Catcher the Sun.
And the Chaos Ball for good measure.
And looks like Fear and his team will be going for a tier 2 push. Morphling will have his EB after this. I just want to commend EG. They're playing so well. Whenever you have a Morphling, you have the Morphling by himself farming, and you have 4 guys to play another game of Dota. Right now, EG is basically playing 4v5 against a ganking lineup. That is so hard to do. But as you do win those team fights, you secure farm and go for your Morphling. Looks like the fights are continuing. Goblin gets immediately down. Here comes the EB of Fear. Big Ravage on artstyle. Artstyle is going to be dead as well. EG completely decimating right now. Meanwhile, G can't get too much going, and he's going to back up as well. EG getting more lead. This is a disruption against Leshrac. Will Leshrac be okay? Yep, he's going to be fine. Getting movement speed bonus here from Tether, and they're going to back off.
Oh man, big dive there by EG. They hold on to the Aegis. They only use a Ravage. Black Hole still available, and they get 2 kills. Great fight for them. Fear's going to TP mid and continue that farm. Speaking of Fear, I actually have to look at his gold per minute because this is pretty outrageous. 480 gold per minute. The max you can get just farming creeps for that first 10 minutes or so is about 500 gold per minute in lane, if you're just counting the creeps that spawn in the lanes. So Fear is really farming fantastically, but he's also been involved in some fights, 3-0-1, and pushing the towers constantly. He's making his presence felt, but like you said, it goes back to the other 4 heroes. Demon died early, he didn't let it phase him, he played defensively, got the Ravage up, pressured mid a little bit, set up some ganks, and it's just been all EG since then. But Dara's going to try to make the best of the situation. Well, they are after this pause, as Fear is going to need a moment.
EG, excuse me, there definitely has a lineup that could, get a couple more kills and suddenly get a tier 2 tower, get a couple more and get another tier 2 tower, maybe win a Roshan engagement. They are so mobile, like you mentioned. They have decent AoE. They just need to position themselves a little bit better. And it's hard to position against a Tidehunter Enigma Black Hole, but they have to somehow find an opening to it.
It's not just that either. It's the Morphling as well. He can pretty much solo kill a lot of these heroes. If we saw in the last fight, he brought Chaos Knight, who's got 1700 health, by the way, down to, I think it was a 3rd HP with this combo, with the Waveform Adaptive Strike, as well as the Ethereal Blade, buffing everything up. So if he goes for any of the squishies, they'll just die instantly. And that makes it very dangerous to be anywhere on the map, because Morphling doesn't have to send his own hero in, he can send a replicant in as well. You can also send the hero in, leave the replicant in the back lines. There's a lot of options for Fear, but the point is, he is now a constant threat around the map, and that's why you see a lot of players opting for the Ethereal Blade Rush nowadays, is because it allows you to be more aggressive and make your presence felt earlier on. Yeah,
once you get the lead in, you definitely will keep the lead and continue to build upon it. Look at Fear right now, sitting at 600 HP, like he owns the map, because he really does. He has the Aegis Immortal, so he's not afraid. Yeah, keep in mind the Ethereal Blade damage buff is going to be very relevant for heroes like Tidehunter with the Great Nuke, for Rubik with his Fable and whatever he's stealing. He is going to be doing a lot of magical damage. I want to point out, this is perhaps the reason why I'm expecting a little bit more Rubik solo mid play. If you actually get the lead in the game, he is such a strong hero. The enemy team has, what, 800 HP, 900 HP, and you're nuking for at least 600, 700 of it because of, Fable, whatever you steal, and the fact that you can pick him up with telekinesis. It does so much damage, and I feel like teams don't respect that. And I'm glad to see that Boba and EG is, because they're dominating. They're really dominating. Look at him, 5-1 and 7. Insane play.
Well, this is such a hard thing to come back from, because Morphling is also, if not the hardest carry in this game, you can make arguments about Lone Drone and Chaos Knight, but most likely he's going to be the hardest, especially with the start he's had. You talked about artstyle going for the Vanguard. It's a great item for tower diving early, really helps you in the laning phase, but in these big team fights, it doesn't give him much damage. All it does is help him tank. And as tanky as artstyle is, it's not enough. EG have too much burst. This is where you need artstyle to carry right now, because Leshrac is not having the best time. He's been dying a lot. Low Druid is still very far behind. Still working towards the Relic, almost 20 minutes in. You have to credit EG for that, but normally you want to see a Radiance up by this point, and this is almost a late time for it, if Low Druid gets a good start. So it's all on artstyle's shoulders, but will he be able to pull it off?
I mean, Chaos Knight is one of those heroes that is very item independent, so getting HP in Vanguard is a decent way to go about it, but unfortunately it won't be enough. Looks like we have a little bit of engagement. Ty versus Artstyle. Artstyle gets a 3-second stun. He's striking in nice crits, but nice TP out after immediately the stun. And yeah, Reality Rift does not cancel TP, a little bit known fact. But top lane here, big AoE breaking out here. Boba down to no mana. Goblin is going to get nuked down immediately. Feared looking for more kills. He sees Leshrac. Leshrac gets bursted down. EB plus Gush.
Okay, yep. Did I miss something, or why did that tether not stun him?
I think he stunned him and immediately got deep proc from Kraken.
That should have canceled the TP, right? I'm confused. If anyone in the chat knows, please enlighten us. I think he used the TP before the tether went off. So that was go for the big gank on Tide. They don't even get him. And then in the end, EG turned it around, so that's very unfortunate. And 2 more kills going the way of EG, a team that's already got a lot. 16 kills on a team that's going for that mid-game team fight. Purge to start on artstyle. Soul Catcher to follow. He's going to use the ultimate. Will it be enough? Bulba, 2 seconds done. Defensive disruption. Fear in the backline's chewing up. He's going to lose the Aegis, but I think Fear will be okay with that if they get a couple more kills. Black Hole is not up because he doesn't have the mod of the Soul Ring cooling down. Now he has it. Gush to follow. They're going to get the Leshrac. Bulba gets pulled back in, but artstyle now in a 4v1. Very bad situation for him. Rabbids clearing out the Phantasms. The Pit holding... Nope, actually not going to hold Enigma in place. Triple kill for Fear. And if he wasn't already big, he certainly is now. It's not looking good at all for Dare.
The downside of sitting at 600 HP is the fact that even an enemy hero looks at you, you're basically dead. But he has the Aegis, so no big deal. He's going to mow down this tier 1. Going to continue down towards tier 2. Roshan going to be back very, very quick. Well, 4 minutes or so. Yeah, and Fear up to 3,300 gold. Ugh. Quick Yasha, or maybe even...
The world is his oyster. It really is. He can build whatever he wants. Dare do have a decent anti-push lineup, so they may be able to hold this off, but it feels like EG are in full command, and it's not just about the kills, it's not just about the gold or experience lead, which I'm sure is quite large at this point. Yeah, over 7,500 gold, over 10,000 experience. That is a hefty lead. But it's also about the map control. All the tier 2s are now completely knocked down, except for the bottom one. Aggressive wards placed up on the hill here, in the middle lane. AG just having total map control. Well, one of them dies now, but aggressive wards are going to allow them to continue to keep this lead going. And Fear, it looks like he's trying to gank someone. Hiding in the trees at the moment. Maybe waiting for someone to show up top, which it looks like Leshrac is about to do. No, he sees the Wisp. He wants the Wisp. Just kidding. He wants the Leshrac.
He wants Lesh.
Uh-oh. He smells blood. Fears got the scent. Oh, the waveform though. Oh, actually not enough. And he's going to replicate out. But Wand used it at an opportune time there.
And the fact that a point booster and a VIP booster is a thing keeping him alive right now. You can see that despite having such a slow start, G will still always go for that Bloodstone. And I mean, when he finishes, it's going to be like a 25-minute Bloodstone. And it's not going to be effective at all.
Yeah, but, hey. I mean, in this game, when you're up against the Ethereal Blade Morphling, when he gets that Ethereal Blade, you need a BKB. Otherwise, you're just food.
Yep.
It's not just the Morphling's burst nuke damage, it's also the rest of the team, plus Soul Catcher on top of it. You just can't survive. I mean, the HP Bloodstone gives you, that was a 1v1. In these team fights, Leshrac is not going to have that luxury. There will be a Gush, there will be a Malefice. And it's an item build that's great if you get the Bloodstone early. But if your opponents are the ones ahead, then suddenly it's not offering you a whole lot.
I mean,
a ray
look
of
at the downside. Silver lining is when you die, you heal your teammate, right?
That's true. That's normally not why you see it purchased, but it's a nice side bonus. The one ray of hope here for Dare, Mag is working towards the Radiance. My concern is that this bear is just going to die. I feel like they can't keep the bear alive. EG is too much burst at this point. Especially with the Medallion, the Ethereal Blade, Soul Catcher as well. I'm not sure how long this Radiance will actually be alive in the team fights.
Well, I think Mag will position himself in decent enough position. The Spear Bear is not going to get focused, so no worries about that. I feel like the Dire is going to be focusing a little bit more on things like the Thrall, the Disruptor, the Wisp, and perhaps the Leshrac. I think Mag is going to be an afterthought. Like, you know what? It's going to be 40 damage per second. We'll take that, and we'll kill everybody else, and then deal with Mag last. The question is, how much damage will Mag do throughout that? And I'm not sure how much.
They have a mech. They're all fairly tanky. I mean, around 1,000 health at least. Not amazingly so. They're going to nuke down the bear instantly. And the bear is available for resummon if he wants to. Push commencing on the bottom lane. And, well, it looks like Dare just doesn't want to take this fight. They're going to go for the split counter push. 3 heroes grouped up mid. 1 on the top lane. That'll be the Leshrac. But EG claim a tier 2. And now no outer towers for Dare. They wanted to gank, they wanted to be aggressive here in the mid game, but it's EG who's holding all the cards. Are they actually going for high ground 24 minutes in? I think they have what it takes to do it, and the bear just melts. Well, you said they wouldn't focus it, but if it's the only target there, I guess why the hell not? And now EG has everything they need to go high ground. Leshrac not even in position. Glyph is forced. Wisp charging in the front lines along with Chaos Knight. They do get the Ravage out, but at the cost of the Wisp instantly melting. Easiest kill ever. And now the fight is not over, of course. Black Hole still available. Kinetic Field holding a couple of heroes in place. Great Black Hole blocking 2 in. Goblin, will he survive? No, he's not going to. Fear utterly unstoppable. Big wave in. He gets another kill. Triple kill for Fear. Early Ethereal Blade on that Morphling, and boy, has he shown the power of it today. 2 heroes dead, 1 buys back, and now EG is, they're unafraid. They're going to go for Rex, and I don't see any way for Dare to stop this.
Yeah, killing the Spirit Bear twice means even if the Radiance finish for Mag, which it isn't. Well, it is actually on the hero right now. The Radiance recipe's there, so no Radiance for the next at least 50 more seconds. They got the melee racks, they're going to back off. Every ultimate down on cooldown. And it seems like the Radiant wants to chase a little bit more. Chaos Knight in the front. No, Feed's in the front. He's about to feed. He dies right now. The Shrag, you talked about the team fight. He is going to get complete focus. He does. He's dead. Immediate buyback from Leshrac, but really, I think it's a lost cause. They smoke back for the Roshan, I believe. Yep, it is back. And
they're most likely going for Roshan, and we saw they have the burst to burn it down quickly before. It's only going to be easier now. Another 2k gold in the bank for Fear, as well as a Manta style. This is I mean, we've all seen Morphlings get big before. This is pretty outrageous farm nonetheless. What is Fear City at now? 170 CS in 26 minutes, and he's 11-0-1. This really isn't a full game farming Morphling. He got a fast Ethereal Blade. They got Rax to 24 minutes. He's been very active in these team fights.
Ooh, EG being a lot more defensive than I thought they would be. They're like saying one of the way that we can actually give them a comeback or an avenue of comeback is lose the team fight here and give them the Aegis.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna have none of that right now and better play safe than sorry. Here comes a bear. It does have not the Radiance right now. The bear is gonna get focused now so quickly. Static Storm plus Kinetic Field on the TIE Hunter. They don't have their AoE ultimates yet, so this is a very smart fight. Artstyle gets reality up there. I have no idea
how
he
that's
got
telekinesis.
Oh my goodness, Bulba! And now Fee's gonna get picked off. Artstyle's gonna be left to the dogs. Wow.
Artstyle trapped up there. Great play, but the fight is not over. Mag in the thick of things. maelk dropping low. Leshrac is going to go down. Just can't survive in these fights. Spirit Bear trying to 1v3, and this is something Lodred can do, but not this game. He's going to drop as well. And another big fight for EG. In fact, a team wipe. And Dare taps out. Nobody can question this. A celebratory ravage by Demon. We're going to be heading into game 2 very soon. Wow. What a display by EG.
I want to say EG played superb. The first
they really did.
15 minutes. First 15 minutes were, yeah, I think there was one fight mid you talked about. It was like, hey, Fear wasn't even here. That just shows you how well coordinated EG was. To be able to win a team fight, 4v5. Granted, they had things like BLACKHOOOOLE and Ravage, but still, it's a 4v5 situation, and they played it perfect.
Right, well, they had a lineup that can do the 4+1. They can have the carry farming, and of course, Morphling, one of the best in the business at that. Can always send a replicate and join the fight at a moment's notice while still farming, very much like a Spectre with his ultimate in that regard. So, EG, they knew how to play their lineup, they knew what they needed to do, and they executed to perfection. I can tell you right now, I doubt they expected to win this quickly. When you pick Morphling, normally you're planning on that 30-40 minute kind of win at the earliest. But it worked out great for them, and we'll have to see how Dare responds in game 2. I actually thought Dare had a fantastic draft coming into this game. I really thought they were going to get those early kills. They got the one on Tide, and then it just felt like it was all EG all the way.
Yeah, I can't believe it either. I was like, Wisp CK, this is one of the premier ganking combo in the game, but they never got their ganks off. Everybody died, and we're just waiting for the throne to blow up. And if you're watching this on the stream right now, do check out the VOD page on dotacommentaries.com if you missed any of the games so far, because it is going to be up there, and we can't leave.
Oh, they can't type disconnecting console because the leave button still won't work. Well, he's going to try. Okay, this game will end. Guys, we may have ourselves a bit of a break here while we wait for Dota to come back online. Is today the patch day? No, today's Tuesday. So hopefully this will be a brief interruption, but as soon as Dota is back and ready to go, we'll be coming to you with game number 2 of EG versus Dare. Just waiting for the throne to officially die here. It's gonna say that Dare wins, but of course it is EG that takes game number 1. No, actually Demon reconnects, so it's not going to end anytime soon. Well, Lumi, this is a good time to ask you how things are going, sort of catch up, and maybe tell the viewers a bit about the Dota show.
You could, because I could barely talk right now.
Okay, I'm gonna let you guys know if you haven't heard a conga line of Dire Heroes headed down mid. For anyone who hasn't heard about the Dota show yet, it's a show that Luby and I are doing. It's hosted by dotacommentaries.com. It's educational and entertainment related to Dota. We have a trivia segment. We have some educational segments as well. We have a challenge day where we issue a challenge, and then over the course of the next week, viewers can submit their replays trying to complete the challenge. This week's challenge is the No Fountain Trips challenge. So if you think you can get 5 of your friends together, and actually the Dire are going to get the victory. So game 1 going to EG. But we'll be coming back to you all with game number 2 as soon as the servers are back online and ready to rock and roll. Thank you all very much for joining us. No scoreboard, though. That's unfortunate. There we go.
Oh, there you go. Took a while.
I am LD
was,
of dotacommentaries.com. Joining me today was Luminous. Don't go anywhere, guys. Game 2.